Let's go here and do that thing. Hopefully they can hear microphone thing there. But not seeing any notes that that's doing anything. So we'll see if that's having any effect whatsoever. Cannot tell. But let's announce this. So like I said, people know it is here. Edit, copy, cancel, and okay, so that's there. Yeah, now it seems to be seeing some audio, little bit of audio. Maybe it's just not quite enough to spike it. We will see. But it looks like we are live here. So hello, everyone. Wait to see if we get any info. Also, I don't see a chat window. That's odd. Where is the chat window? Live. I can't. I don't want to share. I don't want to send feedback. It said it would show up. It would do a chat room. Maybe I have to wait and it'll pop up eventually. I don't know. We will see. It does show. Oh wait, maybe if I tap the little thing, no, it shows people. It shows I'm live, but there's nowhere to go for a little chat box. So hopefully the chat box will show up at some point. Who knows? But hello, everyone. And we can go ahead and get started. So I am at Gen Con. I'm actually back at my room. I'm at an Airbnb from Gen Con and streaming this off of the tablet, which is an interesting sort of experience, let me tell you. But yeah, so that's kind of fun. Yes, so Gen Con's been overwhelming. There's a lot going on, 55,000 people or thereabouts doing their gaming thing. So been playing games and exploring and experiencing that, which has been a lot of fun. That's been that. Hoping to get back to the routine in the next couple of weeks, get back to the Saturday Anime Club and all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and I can get started with the news, actually, which I wanted to make sure I did. So everyone knew what the news was. Let me just kind of get the news set up here. I should probably start this earlier, give folks time to come in and settle in. Maybe do a game or something or a giveaway. Who knows? That's water, by the way. And so we can go ahead and do that. Oh, I've got a little thing popping up that tells me, that is something else. So that's fine. Alrighty. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to the news. So welcome back to the news for the week ending August 2nd, 2019. Beginning with some updates following the Kyoto Animation fire. The Japanese government is considering implementing support measures for the victims of the July 18th fire in Kyoto Animation's first studio building and support for the company itself. Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga stated that a nonpartisan diet group has proposed support measures like tax breaks for donations and providing support for animator training, which would be quite nice. Other support efforts are being considered, but wants to discuss that situation with relevant agencies before moving forward. It was also reported on Monday that contents of a data server from the first studio building have been successfully recovered. Art and other materials were recovered from the isolated server, which is in a separate concrete room in the building, and thus survived the fire and the extinguishing water. KyoAni's lawyer confirmed that all the data in that server was successfully recovered, but did not specify what data was contained on that particular server. Kyoto police have officially released the names of 10 of the 35 deceased victims of the fire. They say these names have been released now that the funeral services are over and the families have given their consent. The names of the other victims are not yet being released due to either special circumstances or requests of the families. English translated versions of the names and obituaries can be found on Anime News Network. Finally, the studio has published an official statement released in Japanese, English, Chinese, Korean, and German and dedicated to, quote, everyone around the world. It is signed by CEO Hideaki Hata and reads the following. An unprecedented atrocity has robbed many of our friends and colleagues of their bright futures and has left many deeply injured. News from all over the world tells us that amazingly many number of people have sent us their hearts and prayers, which are like candles in the darkness for those of us trapped in the darkness of deepest grief. There are many friends and colleagues who are hospitalized and suffering, fighting for their lives. Please give us some time. We promise that Kyoto Animation will continue to create animation that help people have dreams, hope, and impress them. Kyoto Animation will continue to make its employees and staff lead happy lives and contribute to society and local community. I assure you that Kyoto Animation will not give up. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. So there's the news there and what's going on with Kyoto Animation. Heavy stuff, so let's move on to some lighter topics. Some new anime announced this week. Shinei Animation and Tokyo Toon revealed a new project on Saturday, Null and Peta, which is planned to include a game and an anime, at least. It's described as a sister slapstick comedy centering on a genius elementary school inventor and her robotic older sister. The anime is set to air this fall. Sounds fun. Both Zombieland Saga and Zoids Wild announced second seasons this week. The second season of Zoids, entitled Zoids Wild Zero, will tell an entirely new story with new main characters and new Zoids units. It will premiere in October. And Zombieland Saga announced on Saturday that the anime will have a sequel project entitled Zombieland Saga Revenge. This took place at the series' live event in Saga, which featured live songs from the first season, as well as specialized goods from the show. No further details have been announced yet, but Avex Pictures uploaded a kickoff video featuring a dramatic speech from Hakuryu, a Saga native. Lastly, two new anime movies have been announced. A new movie based on Gintama was announced via the 77th compilation volume on Thursday. Kind of crazy. The manga itself ended in June of this year. Also announced on Thursday is a Shin Ultraman film to be produced by Studio Kara. Evangelion creator Hideaki Anno will be in charge of scripts and planning for the movie. Anno plans to fully join the work after completing the new Evangelion film set to open in June 2020. The Shin Ultraman film will release in 2021, but will be directed by Shinji Higuchi, who also worked with Anno on Shin Godzilla in 2016. So Anno is not directing this one, but plans to be fully involved. Kind of interesting. Moving on, Cool Japan, which is a government-supported program in Japan that aims to promote modern Japanese culture abroad, has invested $30 million into Sentai Holdings. This is the parent company of Sentai Filmworks, High Dive, and Anime Network. In the announcement about this investment, Sentai was noted as a rarity in North American anime licensing because of its independent status, Funimation owned by Sony and all that stuff. Its CEO said that this investment will allow the company to further its potential by expanding and deepening its long-running support of the Japanese anime industry. So, pretty cool. Sad news today for Fairy Tail fans. The official website confirmed that voicing was completed in May for the final episode of the anime. The article contains group pictures of the cast and comments from several cast members, and notes that the episode featured more than 65 characters. Wow. The anime began airing in 2009. Its most recent season began in October of last year and is still currently airing. But, it's going to end soon. Sorry. The Tokyo 2020 official art poster project is bringing together 18 domestic and international artists to create artwork posters for the Summer Olympic Games. Among these are Naoki Urasawa, creator of Monster and many others, whose art will feature the main Olympic Games, and Hirohiko Araki, creator of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, who will feature the Paralympic Games. The artwork will be displayed at exhibitions in public places starting in early 2020, and also featured on special licensed products, naturally. The goal of the project is to raise awareness and momentum towards the upcoming games, which, golly, we sure need to know that the Olympics exist. Finally, Sunrise has launched a new YouTube channel for streaming the many animated series in the Gundam franchise. They have very creatively entitled it Gundam Channel. It currently contains the first 3 episodes of 22 different Gundam series. Some of these will continue to have episodes added weekly to the channel, while some will have single episodes added weekly on special days. So they're essentially, releasing it as though it is airing on TV. The new work in the Gundam Build franchise, Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, will also begin streaming on this channel in October. The Gundam franchise will be celebrating its 40th anniversary this year with a series of fan-running events taking place across Asia. Beginning in the fall, the events will feature 2K, 5K, and 10K runs and will allow fans to compete individually or in groups. So if you like Gundam, get out there and run. So that's the news. Again, I don't see. Where's the chat? Where's the chat? There doesn't seem to be a chat thing. There's no chat. That's really annoying. So yeah, I don't see any way of doing a chat here. If any of you are in the Discord, if you could post there and see if this is working at all. If you're hearing any audio, if anything is at all effective in this particular scenario, I literally do not know. Hopefully everything is up and working, but I just don't know. I've been watching more Anne of Green Gables this week, which I know nobody else cares about, but it is a gorgeous show. Again, directed by Isao Takahata. Hayao Miyazaki worked on it, and I'm trying to catch up. Basically, I jumped in episode 24, so there's a lot of catch up to do. But I made a fair amount of progress and hope to get caught up in the next couple of weeks. And it's not only is it. Here's the thing: it's a masterpiece. It just is. Because not just because. And the weird thing is there's no one thing that it does superbly well. There's nothing flashy about Anne of Green Gables, but everything about it, animation quality, character design, all these things, pacing, editing, they all just work. It's really impressive. And I just find it a really, amazing bit of anime. Just, like I said, all the pieces are there. But there are very few like scenes you could show somebody to say, look, this is absolutely stunning. So it's kind of a hard sell. But I did a Parents Guide to Anime panel earlier today and showed some clips of that, and all the parents were like, "Yeah, we should show this to our kids. Like this is exactly what we're looking for." So yeah, Anne of Green Gables is fantabulous. Also been keeping up with Captain Future and Galaxy Express 39s, both of which are exactly what they sound like. Captain Future is still rollicking space adventure, and Galaxy Express is kind of uneven, but enjoyable, entertaining, fun. So again, no complaints there, but it is kind of the deal, the thing that is. So definitely been enjoying those shows. Haven't been keeping up with the recent season just yet. I kind of want to catch up with these older shows over the next week or two. And actually, no, I tell a lie. I watched more of a couple of some shows. I watched a few more episodes of How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, which surprised me because there's sort of a plot twist, like at the end of episode 2, which is like, are they going to follow up on that? I'm curious. And yeah, so I'm curious about that stuff because there seems to be some plot in that show. Also, I just really like the fact that it has slightly ecchi elements, but it is very playful about those. What else? There's another show I think this season that I caught a few episodes of. Just I wanted to keep up with things, but like I said, hopefully once I get up to speed with Anne and some of the other shows, then and the plan is to basically keep up with Anne, Galaxy Express 39s, and Captain Future, and then fill in the rest of the week with other current shows and keep watching that. If you are not on the Discord, you will not know, although you probably saw the video about Hobby Hopper. We've been getting poems posted in the Discord channel, which has been a lot of fun. So let's talk about Hobby Hopper a little bit. This is where we try to do hobby every month. We're starting out with poetry, and I haven't received like explicit permission on any of the poems so far. So I'll just give you a few of my own that I've done so far. So this is August 2nd, so we're just 2 days in. And so a few things so far. My poem from, I think this was yesterday or the day before. The day before. So I kind of started early. Um, Two sneakers hang dead. The phone line their thin garrote. I think of deeds past. And yesterday, um, below the pond's face, worlds live in constant battle. What else can't I see? Finally, today, um, the framed face glares back, its eyes filling me with hate. I and it are one. Not particularly thrilled with that one. It seems a little over the top for me. So obviously, I'm doing haiku. The plan here, and we'll see how well this pans out, is that we've all chosen some poetry style for the first week, and we're kind of working on that. We get a new prompt every week in the Discord channel, excuse me, and we try to compose a poem every day, usually short, and then after a week, we'll be prompted to try a different poetry style and explore that a little bit. Obviously, you don't have to if you don't want to. If you're really kind of, you know, pushing forward on the style you like and you want to dig deeper into that. But I think with poetry, especially, it'll be helpful during this month to try different forms. Still poetry, but different takes on that. So we're not just relearning the same lesson over and over. We can kind of grow somewhat over the course of the week. So yeah, new prompt every morning, and so far it's been fun and a useful exploration of a new hobby. Lots of other hobbies out there that folks have suggested, so we definitely have plenty of ideas for at least probably the next year's worth of hobby hoppers if we decide to go on that long. So that's pretty fun. Like I said, I cannot see any sort of chat here. So if you guys are chatting, unfortunately, I can't see it. Let me try tapping some of these buttons. No, that's just the microphone. That's end stream. I don't want to do that. Send feedback. I think that's gonna. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. That's giving feedback about the stream. So yeah, it said it enabled a chat, but I don't see it. So sorry, guys. So yeah, that is the current state of Gen Con, the current state of my anime watching. And otherwise, I'm trying to think of anything else to really cover. Um, I do have some ideas for the YouTube channel, some other stuff to do during the Friday streams, some other fun stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed the otaku time capsule of this week. The video that posted, was it yesterday, the day before? Weird guy there talking about anime of the 70s. So that was a fun thing to explore and play around with. So I'm hoping to do that every month and talk about anime coming out back in the day. It's probably going to be a little slow for the first few months just because like there is interesting anime in 1979, but it's not really until a couple of years into the 1980s that we start getting a lot of shows coming out because shows tended to be like 50 episodes long. You didn't have as many per year, right? So it's not like every spring you had 30 new shows. So the pace of kind of change is going to be much slower than it would be in the modern day, which is why I hope a monthly video will be a good pace for my musings on that stuff. So that's going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out in terms of my keeping track of like which episodes I watched in the past month. And I am trying to watch them, more or less the day they came out, so to speak. But it is a weird experience of trying to, remember. Okay, this. Oh yeah, this is what came out this month versus the last month. But hopefully that's fun and interesting, and should be a limelight, or not a limelight, a spotlight into how things were back in the past. So fun experience. But like I said, I have some other ideas for stuff. I'd like to do giveaways again here on the channel, especially on the Friday streams. Giveaway stuff. The problem with that in the past has been international shipping. So many of you lovely folks don't live in the same country I do, which dramatically increases shipping costs. Which it's one thing if it's a poster, it's another thing if it's like a big box of stuff. So I can do posters definitely, but then also I gotta ship out the posters. That takes time. So figuring all that out is a little complicated. And hopefully I can figure out some patterns. But what I'd love to do is basically get like some Megami magazines, new types, things like that, pull the posters out of there and give those away, and then see what folks and then I can essentially mail those out in some kind of reasonable pattern and we'll see how that works out. That'd be kind of fun, be kind of interesting. We will see. And other kind of hobbies and projects I want to get involved in. Frankly, I want to get more into like geek archaeology. I want to dig deeper into topics and dig deeper into geek stuff. So we'll see how I can make that happen. And frankly, the Saturday Anime Club is going to be part of that. I want to bring that back. When I get back from Gen Con this weekend, I should not have any Saturdays blocked off for the next little while. So we can get back to that. Evangelion is on the docket for basically next week. We will probably start watching Evangelion as a group. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully get through all of that, the TV series, that is. And from there, we will probably go back and watch some other classic shows. I'd like to get to Utena, because now that's streaming out there. I think it's all streaming, which would be pretty cool. So that is the plan there. Otherwise, don't know what else to kind of dig into. Anne continues. I'm trying to think of anything remarkable about Anne to talk about in terms of what's going on in the storyline, but there's nothing really, huge in the past week. It has been interesting going back and watching those early episodes and seeing how they establish character and give you some idea of who these characters are without giving you a lot of dialogue. So it's a lot in how characters move, how they talk, when they don't talk. There's a lot of not talking in Anne of Green Gables. In particular, in the first couple episodes, oh man, I think episode 3, there are 2 times when a character stops. Like there's no animation, and in both cases it breaks your heart. The lack of animation is heartrending in those scenes. Just amazingly done. So, and it's what I like about a show about these sorts of characters, where it's about a young girl and 2 adults who are not very talkative. She's very talkative, and the other characters around her, you want to see them emote in silence. You want to have some time to kind of understand their characters and dig into those characters. And sometimes you do that by just observing them and not having somebody tell you, here's what this person believed. Oddly, there's a narrator, of course, really only narrates like the beginning and end of every episode. And even when he does, he basically just repeats what you've already seen in the show. There's very little that you don't understand. And I kind of wish there wasn't a narrator at all. It does not need the narrator one bit. And it's probably one of those things where that is a standard thing. Every World Masterpiece Theater show has a narrator. So, okay, this is going to be there. But it's really superfluous, which is really cool. So that is Anne. That was Gen Con. I've been trying to play some games. Frankly, not been having a good luck with playing games here at Gen Con. I had one game where the GM never showed up, the guy running it. I had one game where we started late and the scenario just wasn't a good fit for my character, as it turned out. And then another game where the scenario was just really hard, and we kind of banged our head against it for much of the time. And then game earlier today where same kind of thing as the first one, where just not a lot going. The scenario wasn't good for the character that I picked, which is always frustrating when they have characters for you to play, but they don't really. It's like, well, but I can't do anything with this person. So yeah, but lots of amazing games out there. There's a Cowboy Bebop board game that just launched a couple of days ago, so I might actually pick that up and run through it. That sounds like a lot of fun. Because Cowboy Bebop, is a fun property and be a fun thing to experience, I think, on the tabletop. But yeah, I think that will do it for us for tonight. Unfortunately, I wish I could see the chat room, but it's either disabled or I can't see it. And I'm kind of stumbling over my words at this point, so we know that is probably the point at which to leave off. So if you came in late, I do have anime news earlier in the video, so you'll see that once it posts. I'm gonna go back and watch that, and I'll try to post that to the channel separately as usual. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. So thank you all as always for stopping by. We'll be back to our regular schedule next week. I don't have anything planned for Friday nights for the foreseeable future. And thank you all very much. Have a great week. Until next time, watch more anime.